Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the mainstream media is slowly picking up the story about the daycares in Minnesota, the fake daycares with no children, due to Nick Shirley, a YouTuber, private investigator, whatever you want to call him, independent journalist. He uncovered that there are a lot of daycares in Minnesota and Minneapolis in particular that are not true operating businesses. Daycares with no children, healthcare centres, where they can't offer you any advice on rates. Instead, you're met with hostility. Autism centres, again, with no kids. It seems like a complete scam because these businesses have received millions of dollars in federal funding.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. And if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working, midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing, and like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
Over the years, it has accumulated to the billions. Up to $9 billion has been going to these bogus businesses, masquerading as daycares and all of these things. But it turns out they're collecting the money and they're not offering the actual service. They're not operating as a true business. This has been going on for years. No one knows where the money is going.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in US history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense.
And even more suspiciously, there were investigations that didn't go anywhere. There were judges who let this slide. Elon Musk calls for Judge Sarah West's removal after she tosses $7.2 million Somali fraud conviction. The jury found Abdultafa Youssef guilty in under 2 hours for massive Medicaid scam, fake bills, luxury cars on taxpayer money. But the activist judge overturned it, saying insufficient evidence despite clear fraud. Elon said, "These judges should be fired." Minnesota's Somali fraud rings stole billions. Enough. Restore law and order. Fire rogue judges now.
The reaction was the same as most Minnesotans. I was outraged. We've been dealing with this fraud for a long time. She acknowledges in her order that fraud was rampant in this case, and it was clearly out of control. She couldn't believe the level to which fraud was allowed to be able to be perpetrated. And then it comes to bear that she lets him off because she felt as though somebody else should have been to blame that wasn't the owner of the company. Judicial reform is needed in Minnesota. That is definitely true. But the judge absolutely was acting outside of her authority to do this. It's being already brought to the Minnesota Court of Appeals. So the Attorney General's office is appealing it. And I'm sure they're going to win on appeal. I'm not an attorney, but the precedent that she used was outrageous, and she applied it far wider than the law actually allows. At one point, she argued it because in many of the instances of fraud where a check was written, The defendant claims to have been in Bemidji, which is far, far northern Minnesota, hundreds of, or at least 100 miles away from where the fraud was physically taking place, as if computers don't exist or whatever. And she claims that because he was so far detached from the business, he didn't credibly know that the fraud was happening, which is of course insane, right? He cashed the $1 million worth of check.
The corruption runs deep. And that judge looks like a child. What is going on in Minnesota? We saw that the police were called when Nick and David were asking questions. And the police turned on Nick and David and said, "You're the ones who need to leave." And did the police think for a second to actually look into it? Even just to look around and see if there are any children at the daycare, look around and see if they actually are operating business when it comes to giving rates for healthcare? No. They told Nick to leave. They told David to leave. It was within their rights to do so. So it appears that the police, they might not be as forthcoming when it comes to investigating this or even taking it seriously. Last month, Minneapolis Police Chief O'Hara apologized to Somalis.
The Somali community here in Minneapolis has been welcoming and has shown love towards me, and I appreciate it. Over the last 3 years, we have been working together to try and address some of the real serious problems that we have in our community. We have to be honest at times with the problems that we're having in our community, and we need our community to help us fix those problems together because it's real and it's serious. At the same time, if people have taken anything that I have said out of context in a way that's caused harm, I apologize, and I'm sorry for that, because that's not my intention at all.
Okay, so Nick Shirley was asked, I believe he appeared on Fox News, he was asked, why do you think the mainstream media haven't investigated it into this fraud? And even the local news, the Minnesota or Minneapolis Tribune, I don't even know if that's a real publication, I'm just assuming. The local news, why haven't they looked into it? And he said that he thinks it's because the fraud involves people within the Somali community. And in looking into it, automatically you'll get accused of being racist. He thinks that's one of the main reasons why they haven't looked into it.
Oh, it's so obvious. If you're living in Minnesota, you have to raise your eyebrows and think, what's going on? Literally, if you drive around Minnesota, around Minneapolis, you will see daycare centers, autism centers. You will then see transportation companies that have snow piled up as if they haven't moved in months. And then you also go into buildings where there'll be 20 healthcare companies, 14 and 22, the video that I published on X and YouTube. So it is like a kindergartner could figure out that there is fraud going on.
And Tim Walz himself seemed to point the finger at Nick, as some are seeming to attempt to be doing. They're now trying to point the finger at Nick, a young YouTuber, 23 years old, uncovered 100 million worth of fraud. And obviously over the years, David has uncovered that it goes into the billions. But really, it's something that's been under our noses this whole time that people have noticed, that anybody could have figured out. But for some reason, it has been swept under the rug. So obviously, the powers that be have to have been involved in covering this up.
This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy.
So it sounds to me, Nick, that Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I totally understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Nick, your video's been viewed 93 million times. What do you think will be the result of this? Do you think that things will change because of bringing attention to this, or do you think it'll be much the same, swept under the rug and keep moving forward?
Yeah, there better be change. People are demanding it. The investigations have been launched just from that video alone. And so there better be change because, like I said, we work way too hard to be paying taxes. We work way too hard to be not knowing where our money's going. And at the end of the day, people in the government, they work for us. We don't work for them. And so it's their responsibility to hold these people accountable. And so if there's not something that's happened, people are going to be very frustrated. And so if President Trump's watching this, it's time to really get down to nitty gritty and to make a difference in this place of Minnesota that is pretty much like Somaliland right now.
So, of course, race is used as a shield. Immigration status is used as a shield. This is what is happening. They're so concerned about white supremacy. They don't care about illegal immigrant supremacy and other types of supremacy, which neither one is good. I thought nobody's above the law. What happened to that?
I want to be proud to say I'm from Minnesota again. We welcomed people into this community, into this state, and they're stealing from us. They're stealing from you. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what political affiliation you claim to be a part of. This child care center fraud is an abomination, and it should upset every single Minnesotan. People that steal from you are not your friend. People that take advantage of you are not your friend, are not a part of your community. And it's time to drop this Minnesota BS, this Minnesota nice, and start standing up for our state. Start standing up for what we believe in so that we can be proud to stand firm in who we are in Minnesota and what we stand for. And this is not it.
And of course, again, using race as a shield, using immigration status as a shield. Nick was accused of being ICE. He, alongside David, were accused of being ICE simply because they knocked on the door of a so-called daycare center and asked, "Where are the children?"
Blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said they spelt learning wrong.
Here. Don't open up!
How do you have ICE here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
Ma'am, what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
they-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally,
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ice!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare
Minnesota
center.
says 99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
That would have been a great place to start. Ask them who they are instead of making assumptions, ranting and raving like a lunatic. These are the people who vote. Why is the instinct of these people always to protect the criminals? They're uncovering fraud. They're asking you what you think about it, and you don't even listen for 1 second, assuming they're ICE.
Who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud.
And then the New York Post actually went there. These are one of the few publications reporting on this story, and they went there. And of course, they were met with hostility.
Area. Don't come to this area.
What's your response to the allegations? Is there fraud going on here? No, it's a video. I just want to know what's your response. Huh?
Get the out of here.
What's your response to the allegations? Is there fraud going on here, and is there children? That's all.
Don't harass people here.
So this is from 2018, a Minnesota criminal prosecution against Somali daycare fraudsters.
Order for the scheme to work, the daycare centers need to sign up low-income families that qualify for child care assistance funding. These surveillance videos are from a case prosecuted by Hennepin County. They show parents checking their kids into a center only to leave with them a few minutes later. Sometimes no children would show up. But either way, the center would bill the state for a full day of child care. This video from that same case shows a man handing out envelopes of what are believed to be kickback payments to parents who are in on the fraud.
Where was the money going? I don't know exactly where it went.
So the 2018 footage and the investigation in that particular case shows how this scam works, how it's operated. And it appears that they bring the kids and then they return the kids soon after. The video was taken from a surveillance camera as part of a case prosecuted by Hennepin County, according to the 2018 Fox 9 report. Under the scheme, low-income parents would sign in their children for daycare services so that providers could claim reimbursement for services that were never truly provided, per Fox 9. The outlet said that according to surveillance video, some days, no families would show up, but that the daycares would claim reimbursements from the government nonetheless. And of course, this is happening in other states. There's been calls for Nick Shirley to come to Ohio, for example.
Nick Shirley, I hope you see this video. Please come to Columbus, Ohio. The reporting you did in Minnesota was amazing. Thank you for that. And if you come to Columbus, Ohio, you will find the exact same fraud. You will see the exact same things, daycares everywhere, the home health care. I mentioned that in my video. I do not have your bravery to go out here and knock on doors like you did. I don't even want to leave my room right now, okay? But you could come here and do what needs to be done. Please, please investigate. Please talk to our government officials. And you see how the police escorted you out of that building? The Columbus police are on the same take, I am sure. Allegedly. Let me say allegedly before I got the Columbus police coming after me, as well as the Somalis. It's a lot. In the meantime, please come here and investigate. You will find the exact same things. And the rest of the country needs to know that it is real. Thank you for all you are doing. And please, please, please stay safe.
They need to go to Ohio. They need to probably go to New York, especially with the free daycare that has been proposed recently. I wonder how that's going to turn out. So these are crazy times we're living in, and all I hope is that it's all exposed. Some people are saying, I guess the black-pilled people, they're saying that nothing's going to come of this. Don't get your hopes up. Republicans are in on it as well. They're all in on it, and if, they expose one, they all go down. So, don't hold your breath. Some people are taking that stance. Other people are saying, don't just post about it. We've had J.D. Vance posting about it, and some other Republicans, like high-profile Republicans. But don't just post about it. Kash Patel has said the FBI are aware. FBI Director Kash Patel says his agency's investigation into fraud in Minnesota is continuing. These criminals didn't just engage in historic fraud, but tried to subvert justice as well. Those responsible pleaded guilty and were sentenced, including a 10-year prison term and nearly $48 million in restitution in related cases. The FBI believes this is just the tip of a very large iceberg. We will continue to follow the money and protect children, and this investigation very much remains ongoing. So the message there is, we've been doing this. We've been uncovering the fraud, and, this is nothing new. But all people are caring about now is to see some arrests made, or at least investigations into this particular fraud that seems to have been allowed to continue for a very long time. So we shall see what comes of it. But all I know is that statements and a lot of talk isn't going to solve anything. Tim Walz needs to be held accountable, needs to be investigated as a matter of urgency. And at the very least, he should step down. But many would like to see him prosecuted. And all of those involved in allowing this to continue and covering it up, including judges, by the sounds of it. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.